Hello, this is a story which I'm sure I've seen it on YouTube and I've seen it around different places, and I've read about it years ago. But it's when you see it today, it seems to be a lot more added to it, a lot more information to it. And there was one uh, same sort of story, and they get coincided. You get mixed up which one's which. So I can't really give the time or the day, but it's easy to check up on the internet. But I don't want to do it because I'll probably give the wrong one. Because when you look at everything, they mix them all up, and the stories become um, mismatch. But the original story, I'll tell you that one. No, which is I know it's true because it's perfectly documented really well. And this happened years ago. It was a fella on a small plane on his own, and he was flying from somewhere Bermuda that way on back into Florida. Um, he had fuel on board, simple flight, nothing too complicated at all. Experienced pilot. He wasn't a novice. He's done this journey many times before. Clear sky, beautiful. What reason I'm telling this, because even though it's been said before, I want to give mm, some spin to it, which is my like. Anyway, as he's took off, he's radioed back to the radars, and so yeah, clear. And as he goes, cross over from one radar to the other, and yeah, thank you and all this, and off and it carries on going, and suddenly from nowhere, this is around the Bermuda Triangle, but let's forget that. That name. It's people say there's a gas underneath, but they're seeing it comes out and it interferes with the electronic gear, which good excuse. I like that one. To be honest, it's one of my favourites. But there's another spin on it because as he goes along, the fella survives and tells you that everything. In fact, he got interviewed by all sorts of people, including the CIA at the airport in America, because when he was flying, he lost time. I think it's 3 or 4 hours. Um, if it forward or backward, but it was wrong. And the reason why they had good evidence from the radar from when we took off to the one he was landing, so it was really well recorded. So that's why this the government people in America really wants to have a question in what's happened in that time. It's irrelevant if you gained or lost. It just the point is it happened. It's uh, but the description is the magical part. He describes his when he looked out the window, he couldn't recognise anything. And just like those pilots said in 1940s, everything looks odd. They said on the radio transcript. The compass has gone AY. He said exactly the same. Everything's gone AY, and he doesn't recognise anything. Exactly the same. But this guy survived to tell the story, and 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 he kept flying and flying. He kept to this. The engines are still going, but he describes it as if it was in the cloud, but the cloud went turbulence, and that's got me going at that. Anyway, he went down and landed down and safely, and then they asked him, not interrogated, but probably wants to know everything about him. Check the plane, and with the wood, you would, you know, you'd send the best scientists in the world to have a look. Anyway, my little spin with this is that you can imagine atmospherics. You can imagine the weather, hot weather, cold weather, turbulence and changing, and you can see not just a turbulence with cold weather being a bit misty, but you can imagine the turbulence and the vortex, what it would make inside. You may look outside cloudy, but maybe inside it's caused a vortex. Vortex, electric lightning, electric encompasses electromagnetic straight through. Maybe it's a natural phenomena. It's what's happening. especially around there, weather and different weather and turbulence, hot and cold, maybe somehow it picks up its own a small air and disperses again and goes again. Um, Maybe it is a natural phenomena. You fly through it and you think, God, where's that gone? Because it's not the first time it's done it, and I don't believe we're making it, and I don't believe little somebody up there is doing it to us. Um, um, and it's going back to the 1940 airplane. Experienced pilots, several of them disappeared, and they all just said the same. And you don't get experienced Navy pilots going wrong. There's something. So I'm thinking it's that. It's again, it's that interference, because this guy, he had a good look and he survived to tell it, and he explained that inside the cloud it looked like it was spinning, and that always got me going. I thought he may not see and he described all these instruments going to kaput, and that explains the magnetical vortex. It would do that, and if his engine just skimmed through, and yeah, and maybe it's caused a time lapse, a vortex. So a natural vortex, but nevertheless a time vortex. That's my take. Probably wrong. But anyway, I hope you like it. If you find out anything more about it, please let me know. It'd be very interesting, honestly, it would. I don't know if the person's still alive. I'm not sure. I think it's happened a few times, especially in that area. That's why I don't want to give time and dates, but I'm sure it has. Okay. God bless. So, yeah, we enjoyed that. If you have any ideas about any more information on it, please let me know. I'd love to read it. I really would. Thank you.